Hi folks, how you doing? Russell, TrueResults303.com. Check out the website, link in the description box, Mind, Body, Spirit, Fitness. Putting the healing back in health. Once again, don't forget to check out the podcast, True Results 303. At the website, sign up for the newsletter. Pick up a couple of those free gifts by clicking on the free gift button. Get updates when new information is coming out. Follow on Facebook, True Results 303. Twitter right now is TRURWW. I got to get that changed. And then, of course, you can always email me, trueresults303@gmail or at Yahoo. All right, so today I'm going to be talking to you about what is love. I think this is a big topic. We have a big misunderstanding of what love is, and I think it's really damaging society in general. So I'm going to go with you. I'm going to throw at you some concepts of what love might be, and then I will tell you where I got these resources or these points of view from. So the first concept is what is the opposite of love? What do you think the opposite of love is? And when you ask this question to a majority of people, they're going to say the opposite of love is hate. The opposite of love is fear. But I want to come at you with the concept of the opposite of love is used. Used. The opposite of love is used. Using. Right? And the reason why is I think in a world of commodities, we have reduced the human person to a commodity. Right? There are these people where, you cohabitate before you get married. Right? You have premarital sex. You have sex before you get married because you got to test drive the goods, right? Got to make sure. And unfortunately that means you are using that person as a thing. Right? And these people that say, hey, the sex is great, blah, blah, blah. Well, when the sex goes away, the sex is no longer great. You're not having sex. Then most likely they are going to leave that person if the relationship was built around that. So, it's like they say, if you got to test drive the car before you use it, hey, everything's all good unless you're the car. If you're the car, then that's not good because you're the one being used. It's let me use you, let me abuse you, and, if I like it, then I'll do it. If not, on to the next one. So, the opposite of love is used. Okay? So I guess the next thing would be then is what love isn't. What love is not. Love is not a sexual act. We've got to understand that as well. I think that is confusing for a lot of people, myself when I was young, to where we think that if you love that person, you must engage sexually with the person. I thought that for the longest time as well. Unfortunately, it is not, right? A lot of people say they love their pets, they love their children, they love their grandparents. You love your parents. You love all these people and you have never once engaged in sexual activity with them. So love is not a sexual act. We've got to understand that. Love is not a feeling or an emotion, right? There's a lot of things I like that bring joy to my life that I don't love, right? And a lot of those things are, people will say money, cars, clothes, shoes, video games, exercise, fitness, YouTube videos, whatever the case may be. But a feeling and an emotion is not love, because a feeling and emotion can always misguide you. That's why we say things that we regret, whether while drunk, while in a fit of rage, when upset. So love, I think, is not a feeling or an emotion. Next, I want to say love is not compromise. I think we have that concept a lot as well, that love is compromise. And love is not compromise. That's 50-50. That means 50% of the time you are miserable or unhappy with the outcome. So love is not a compromise. The next one is love is not selfish. Love is not jealous. Love is not envy. And love is not rude. Right? So love is the total giving of yourself. So it can't be any of those things. And love is not weak. It takes strength to love somebody. It takes strength to stay with someone for a long period of time. So love is not weak. Love is not weak. All right? Do we understand that? Love is not weak. It takes a real person to love. And since we're there, what is love? Now we got to go with this concept. What is love? Love is wanting what is best for that person, for someone else. Right? Love is wanting what's best for the person. That's why you can't use a person. It's not a sexual act. It's not a feeling or an emotion, because those are things that are you, right? So love is wanting what's best for the other person. Plain and simple. Wanting them to have the greatest life that they can possibly have. That is love. What is love? Love is cautious. Love is humble. Love is upright. Love is sober. Love is chaste. Love is firm. Love is quiet. Right? That's how they say, kind of like the wise man doesn't speak or only speaks when he can add value to life. That's quietness, right? Knowing when to talk, when not to talk. Same as love. Firm. Love is chaste. Why is love chaste? If you think of chastity, that is abstaining from sex. That means if you are giving yourself to a person for the rest of your life, there are times when you will not have sex. And I'm not talking about with your husband or wife. I am talking about in general with other people, right? You are committing yourself to one person. So that means you are chaste to the rest of the world, if that makes sense. Now you are chaste to the rest of the world. What is love? Love is patient, right? Because when you are engaging in that relationship, in marriage, in love, you have to be patient. The other person is going to mess up. The other person is going to struggle. You're going to have miscommunications and things like that. Love is kind and love is trusting. This is that same thing. It's not jealous. It is trusting. Love is not selfish. If you're a person, I've mentioned this before, if you're a person where you get into a relationship, all of a sudden you stop seeing all your friends, everybody, this and that, that is selfishness, right? So, no, love is wanting your loved one to still have their own personal time if that's what they want. You don't argue over those things. You let them go and do their own thing. And then next would be, love is a decision, right? Love is a decision. If it's not an emotion, love is a decision. And I'm going to say this one, I'm going to go off of Jesus' teaching when he was talking about, I say, you've heard it say love your neighbor, I say love your enemy. So if he's telling you to love your enemy, someone that you hate, someone that's done you wrong, that means love is a decision. Forgiveness. Love is a decision. You have to make it. So that's why we have to stop thinking of love in that superficial way. So now, since I ended it with the Jesus teaching there, all of these I just got, all these different concepts I just got, were biblical or Christian views of love. So I will read them again from the areas that I got them from so you can see where they come from. Some are biblical, some are not. So the first one will be wanting what is best for the other person. Love is wanting what's best for the other person. If I remember correctly, that is St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas. Look into him. Crazy smart. People would say he is the greatest Western philosophical mind ever. Of course, when I always hear that argument, it is coming from a Catholic Christian perspective. But look into St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas, the dumb ox. The Summa Summa, I think, is one of his books. So look at that one. So the other one is the love and used concept. This is Pope John Paul II, St. John Paul II. This is his concept, and when he started with the theology of the body. Some of my videos have been on theology of the body as I start to slowly learn these things. So definitely look into that. Theology of the body. Love and responsibility. Woman and man, he made them. I think they said the Pope had written so many things, it would be the equivalent of like 9 Bibles or something that he had written in I think he was Pope for 30 years, 32 years, something along those lines. So definitely look into anything written by Pope John Paul II. Okay? Next is this book. This is a great book. I get a lot of quotes out of this book. The Imitation of Christ. And here's the one on love. I'll read it for you real quick so you can get a better understanding, possibly. Love is swift, sincere, pious, joyful, and glad. It is strong, patient, faithful, wise, forbearing, courageous, and is never self-seeking. Never self-seeking. For when people seek themselves, they cease to love. Love is cautious, humble, and upright, not weak, not flighty, nor concerned with trifles. It is sober, chaste, firm, quiet, and keeps guard over the senses, emotions, and feelings. Love is submissive and obedient to authority, mean and despicable in its own right, devout and thankful to God. Love always trusts and hopes in God, even when it lacks fervor. For there's no living in love without some sorrow or pain. Those who are not always ready to suffer and to stand disposed to the will of their beloved are not worthy to be called lovers. For lovers must gladly embrace all hardships and bitter things for their beloved, and never allow themselves to turn away from him by adversity. So that was the imitation of Christ. Then the other one, you know it's coming from the Bible, right? The other one is coming from the Bible. This one is 1 Corinthians 13, the way of love, but I shall show you in still more excellent ways. If I speak in human and angelic tongues, but do not have love, I am a resounding gong or a clashing cymbal. And if I have the gift of prophecy and comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, if I have all faith so as to move mountains but do not have love, I have nothing. If I give away everything I own, and if I hand my body over so that I may boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, love is not pompous. It is not inflated, it is not rude, it does not seek its own interests. Once again, it's wanting the good of someone else. It does not seek its own interests. It is not quick-tempered. It does not brood over injury. It does not rejoice over wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. If there are prophecies, they will be brought to nothing. They will be brought to nothing. If tongues, they will cease. If knowledge, it will be brought to nothing. For we know partially, and we prophesy partially. But when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I used to talk as a child, think as a child, reason as a child. When I became a man, I put aside childish things. At present, we see distinctively as in a mirror, but when face to face. But then face to face. At present, I know partially, then I shall know fully, as I am fully known. So faith, hope, love remain, these three. But the greatest of these is love. So I'm going to end it right there. Food for thought, all those different things of what love is, what love isn't. We've got to be able to understand that in order to understand something, we need to understand its opposite, what it is not. Okay? So I hope that helps. Subscribe to the channel. Share and like these videos.